Since I knew the story of my birth, I've known that I am here just because of God, because He had a purpose for me. My mom didn't know she was carrying me when she was pregnant, and she went to the doctors complaining about a multitude of things. Amongst them were heartburn, and she found out she was pregnant and that she was 6 months along. And she was, completely distraught because she had been getting high her entire pregnancy with me. I was born a month later, so I was born premature. And the doctor said, you can stop, but it's probably too late. The damage has already been done. And if your child survives, they'll probably experience lots of disabilities. Well, there is nothing cognitively wrong with me. I have cray-cray moments, don't get me wrong, but everything is perfect, and I know that that's God. And so I learned that story when I was 6. And so because of that, I think I've always known that there was some massive purpose for my life. Understanding who you are is entirely different to the correlation of what you do. And I think far too many people make their vocation their purpose, but usually it's just the vehicle or vessel that's being used for you to operate in your purpose. We are here for my Leverage and Scale Mastermind. These are high achieving entrepreneurs that are over the 6-figure mark that want to leverage and scale their life to the multiple 6 or 7-figure level. So I want you to do me a favor and close your eyes. And I'm going to lead you through some powerful breathing so that we can clear the space and open ourselves up to become conduits for what it is that God has to offer us about what our next level looks like. So I want you to take a deep breath in, and I just want you to hold it.
I think I met Darnyelle in 2009, and financially things just weren't well. I hadn't hit my stride yet. I don't even think I was making $60,000.
It was 3 weeks after I separated from my husband. I was doing a lot to reinvent myself, my business.
The thought of going back to work in corporate America I couldn't even wrap my head around it. Doing something that I'm just doing it just to be doing it just for the money. What would my children think of me?
I love Habakkuk 2:2. It says, write the vision, make it plain, write it on tablets, and then it says, and go, which means we have to take an action in order to release the vision. So God can't even give us what He has for you if we're sitting still, if we're standing still, if we're not open. We do a culmination retreat in a mansion because exposure creates expansion. And once you've been exposed to something new, you expand your capacity of what that could look like for you. And what I want them to do is I want them to realize that they could have all of this and they could do it without being super slaves in their business, that they don't have to compromise or sacrifice anything that's important to them on the journey to getting it.
In each of the retreats, there's always some fun and a way to just kind of release at the same time that we're learning, we're growing, and we're building these, successful businesses.
If we're gonna be doing work that we don't love, we shouldn't have. We did not quit our good jobs. How many of y'all had a good job? You make good money, right? You got to go in every 2 weeks, and if you just did the bare minimum, you still got a paycheck every 2 weeks? That's a good job. I was making $120,000 a year before my bonus. I was living nice. Who quit their good job to come out into entrepreneurship and struggle? No, right. We quit our good jobs to come out in entrepreneurship to do better and far less of our effort so we can take guiltless vacations. So we can take a whole month off. And that's why we might need to evaluate our prices or, see who we need to bring on the team to make sure that at the end of the day, we get to feel warm and fuzzy and fulfilled. We need to be fulfilled. Like, it just feels all the way good down in my soul fulfilled. Y'all know how y'all had that moment. Your man might have been involved in it, but you had it. That's how you should feel in your work. Otherwise, what's the point?
Coming to the retreats is really, incredibly invaluable because every year I'm really noticing a significant increase in my income.
The most powerful thing that's helped me is that mindset, that self-care, working on me. Because once you work on yourself and you take that to the next level, anything that you do with the help of God is going to bloom, it's going to blossom, it's going to prosper.
It's really intense, but in the best way possible, because we're a community, we're really a sisterhood. Having your own business is not the easiest thing in the world to do, especially as a woman of color. Just frankly, it's not. And knowing that I can share my experience with people who understand, who walk in my shoes every day is really powerful. There's no judgment. There's just pure love, unconditional love and support. And you don't even get that from your family. And Darnyelle, it's hard to put into words what I feel she does for us, because she touches us on a physical, spiritual, business, financial, every level. She meets us where we are and really raises us up from there.
We're gonna start with why. Why do you do what it is that you do? And what I want you to do before you write the answer, I want you to ask yourself why 5 times. And each time you ask yourself why, I want you to write down the next answer. So why do I do what I do? It's gonna be very surface, right? Because I wanna help the kids be with the right parents. Well, why? Well, because I think that the justice system doesn't always protect children. Well, why? Because when I was a little girl, this happened to my neighbor. Well, why? So by the time we get to the 5th why, there's usually emotion. If your why doesn't make you cry, then you don't know why. And until you know why, you're not gonna be able to have the impact that you truly want to have with the work that it is that you do. So we're gonna test my theory and see how long it takes for you to get to the emotion behind why you really do what it is that you do.
Why I like working with small business clients and seeing them grow and prosper in their business. Why I like seeing people successful. Why I want to be successful. Why I want my daughters to be successful and not to know what lack is. And I want the story to change. And why? Because my family struggled when I was a child, and my husband's family struggled as a child.
So to break the curse. How good does it feel to be able to admit that?
I never really knew, because when you first said this, I was like, I don't know why.
Right, yeah. Because that's the surface, that's what we are taught to do. I watched my dad, who was an addict, is an addict, struggle with trying to hide his addiction so he could take care of us. And because he didn't want us to become wards of the state, because my mom was already in jail. And how he covered up and pretended as if, well, we don't do anybody any favors by pretending as if. It is only when we are willing to stand in our why, whatever that is, and own it boldly and flat-footed, that we can actually impact and change people. And then our businesses can really be what we wanted them to be. And often, and what you'll see as we continue our work together, what you will see is the money has been there all along. It's been held captive by you not going deep enough to be clear about why you work. Because all of the surface reasons why we get up in the morning and do the things that we do are not enough to sustain us. And we end up checking out on ourselves, which is why we don't show up the way we need to in our businesses. So, proud of you. So Next Level Everything is just a culmination of living life at the level I believe we were created to experience life, but not from your vantage point, from God's vantage point. If you saw yourself the way God saw you, what would your next level be? Like, I have chills right now because every time I think about that, it amazes me and it forces me to not think small and play small. And most people are living beneath their privilege, and that's regardless of socioeconomic status. They're living beneath their privilege here, so they're living beneath their privilege out there.
It's more than business, it's life. Life changing is not just business growth and acceleration. It's everything. And so I would really encourage people who are on the fence and really not sure or feel like they can't afford it. Yes, you can. Because if you don't do it, you're gonna find yourself in the same position next year as you are right now. You're gonna regret not working with her because you could be further along.